right, so I'm here with Jennifer, and how do you say your last name?
It's McQuady.
McQuady, okay. And she is the, let me get this right, coordinator for international recruitment.
That's right.
Get that right? Okay. And you're with Western Kentucky University.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here with us today. Most of the people watching this YouTube channel are international students trying to learn English, and most of them are trying to get into American universities.
Okay, great.
So, yeah, I think it's really valuable when we can have representatives from the different schools come and share a little bit. So, I've got some canned questions here for you, if you don't mind helping us out.
Excellent.
First of all, why are you at ELS specifically? Is there some reason that you're at ELS centers?
Sure. Actually, Western Kentucky University has an agreement with ELS.
Okay.
So we do waive the TOEFL or IELTS if someone has passed ELS level 109 for undergraduate programs and 112 for graduate programs.
Fantastic. All right. And for people that don't know, what are the IELTS and TOEFL tests? Well,
the IELTS and TOEFL tests are English language exams, kind of to get an idea of where your English level is.
Okay. And so what majors does sorry.
It's okay.
What majors does Western Kentucky University offer to students?
We actually have over 170 undergraduate areas of study. So some of our most popular with international students are computer science, business, engineering, but we also have the humanities, social sciences, psychology is very popular, and we have the arts as well. So theater, music, art, all of those are available at Western Kentucky.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I was going to mention as well, we also have over 70 graduate programs. So if you're interested in graduate programs, we have some of those available as well.
All right. And in the description section on this video, I'll put a link to your school so that they can go right to the website to see the programs.
Perfect.
So I think that would be useful.
Yeah, has a lot more detail on there about the programs.
Okay,
so.
Excellent. And I guess how many students are at Western Kentucky University?
Well, it's a fairly, I would say, mid-sized university. We have about 21,000 students and about 1,400 international students from over 70 countries.
Oh, wow. So you just answered my next question. So there's lots of international students
There
over
are quite a few international students.
Okay.
And a good mix of diversity as well.
Fantastic. How many of those are ELS students, do you think?
There's quite a few. We get a lot from different ELS centers over the U.S., and I would say maybe 20%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel like ELS students do academically compared to other international students that are coming into the program? Do they succeed? Do they do well?
They do. Actually, we did some research a while back comparing their levels to students who come from other programs, and they actually had a very high level of academic achievement compared to just the average international student who comes to the university.
That's positive.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of on the same line of thought there, would you say there's a particular skill that international students struggle with when they go to university?
The thing I've noticed mainly is academic writing. A lot of students do struggle with academic writing, especially at first when they're just getting used to the university and getting used to the heavy papers and things like that they have to write. So usually it does take a few semesters for students to kind of get the hang of that and start understanding the way papers are laid out and the language they have to use. Usually ELS students do a little better in that area, but it is an area I've noticed international students struggling with. Okay,
interesting. I know a lot of colleges will have, even if you get through like an ELS or an English school, they have special English classes for international students when they come into the freshman class. How does it work? Do they still have to take separate English classes before they can move into the regular freshman English program?
It totally depends. When they arrive during the orientation week, they will be doing some testing just to see what level they're at.
Okay.
So they may test into, if their English level is a little bit lower, they might have to test into a kind of beginner academic writing class, something like that, just to give them some extra support in that area. But if they do well on that test, they can just go directly to regular freshman level classes.
And this isn't the TOEFL or IELTS. This is your own in-house
testing.
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
And not just international students take it, all of the students who come in take it to determine what level they're at. And they would also take not just English, but math tests, placement tests as well, to see if they would need to take that entry-level math class, or they can just go on past that.
And this is everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Not just international students.
Excellent. Okay. All right, getting down to brass tacks here. How much does it cost on average to attend the university?
Okay, excellent question. The tuition for 1 year is about $25,000 for undergraduate students, but we do have scholarships we offer. We actually have one scholarship that will reduce the tuition by $10,000 per year, specifically for international students.
Okay.
So a lot of students look into that scholarship as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 25 grand, but you could potentially get some scholarships. It sounds like there's a big one for about 10 grand for internationals.
There are, and there's some other scholarships. Actually, international students are eligible for all the same scholarships as domestic students.
Oh.
It's just important to make sure that they apply a little bit earlier, because a lot of times the scholarships have earlier deadlines than the actual admission deadlines.
Ooh.
So
did you guys hear that? I think that's critical.
Very important.
I just had 2 Saudi students in my office asking about different universities, and I recommended they apply to like 5 programs, and there's usually a little application fee.
Yeah.
And what is the non-refundable? What's the application fee for your school?
For bachelor's programs, it's $75, and if they're interested in master's, it would be $60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So help me out here, because you're the pro advisor, but my advice to them was, if they're scholarship students, check with their scholarship program to make sure the school's approved. So for these guys, they're with the SACM scholarship program. They need to talk to their advisor.
Right.
Find the schools that are okay from the Saudi side, the scholarship side, and then I told them maybe pick 5 from that list, apply at all 5, and then what happens from there? Let's just say they're going to Western Kentucky. They pay the fee. Let's say they're going into undergrad. You said $60?
$75.
$75 for undergrad. What next? What happens next?
It's pretty straightforward. Usually, once we receive a copy of their high school transcripts and their ELS certificate. Now, we do offer conditional admission if they're currently enrolled in ELS.
Okay.
So they can apply even before they complete ELS level 109 or 112.
Just to get the process going.
Just to get the process going, and then when they complete it, they would go ahead and send a copy of their certificate of completion to be fully admitted. But they can receive their conditional admission just with the proof that they're enrolled in ELS now and their high school transcripts.
Okay.
And usually, if we have all the documents, we can actually process them in just 2 to 3 business days usually is all it takes.
Okay.
And then in order to receive the I-20, that would be the immigration certificate you would need to come to Western Kentucky University. They would need to provide a copy of their bank statement showing that they have enough for 1 year of study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, they also have to have full acceptance, right, before they can take that step?
Exactly. So they would have to be fully admitted in order to receive the I-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just, hypothetically, let's back up a second. The advantage to getting provisional acceptance would be these scholarships.
Exactly.
So it gives them plenty of time to talk to you or someone else that's there that knows about this free money.
Right.
And then they can apply. They'll have plenty of time to meet the deadlines.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if they apply earlier, they get the conditional admission, then they can go ahead and be in the running for the scholarships as well. So.
Excellent. And are the scholarships and all that, are those available on the website to view?
They are, exactly.
Okay.
If you go to our website and just search for scholarships, and then you can just click on if you're interested in graduate or if you're an incoming freshman, just click on that and we'll have all the different scholarships listed and the requirements for them.
Okay. Another question that comes up sometimes, can international students work while they're in the program to help make money?
That's a great question. International students can work, but they can only work on campus. So they could work on campus for up to 20 hours per week during class time, and up to 40 hours per week during the breaks like summer or winter break.
Okay.
So we actually have a lot of students, international students, working on our campus. probably maybe 70–75% have on-campus jobs. So there are a lot of jobs available. It's pretty easy to find an on-campus job. We have a website for student employment that has all the jobs listed.
Nice. Okay.
So they can just go to that website and apply for any jobs they're interested in. We even have a lot of international students working in our office, the International Student Office. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy to find a job. There's usually quite a few available, but they would be limited to working on campus.
Okay. Interesting. What else did I want to ask? Oh, you mentioned the price for a year on average, $25,000. Does that include food and housing?
Great question. No, it does not include food and housing. That would be the price for tuition. But food and housing is pretty affordable in Bowling Green. It's a pretty low cost of living area. So they can usually get by, especially if they're sharing an apartment with someone, maybe living on one of the apartments that's within walking distance of campus. They can usually get by on maybe $300 or $400 a month for food and housing, expenses like that.
Okay.
But the amount that they would have to show for the I-20, so the amount in the bank account, just which would be an estimate of the housing and food, is about $37,000.
Okay, for a year or
for a year.
Okay, so they got to show they have that much money.
Exactly.
3,700 is a magic number.
Right.
3,700. All right, to get approved.
Right.
With your school.
No, actual it's 37,000. So total, so
I see.
25,000 for tuition, and then an additional 12,000 would be food, housing, books, living expenses, everything like that. So that's how much they would have to show for a year. But they often end up spending a lot less than that on living expenses and things, especially if they're sharing an apartment or room with another student.
Okay. But they've got to be able to prove that they could pay that much.
Which, if they're a sponsored student, they would just need to show their scholarship letter. So.
Wow, this is great information. I guess the other question is your institution, is Western Kentucky University a public or a private school?
It's actually a public university.
It is public, okay. Yeah. And are you guys regionally accredited?
We are. We're accredited by SAC, so the Southern Association Commission. I'm blanking on the entire name now. But
okay, that's okay.
So that is our regional accrediting body, is SAC.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I guess it's kind of a final question. What do you feel like a student needs to do to succeed at your university? Are there like 3 things you would say? I know it's kind of hard, but...
That's a good question. One of the things that we do recommend to all students when they come is that they really get involved. So we're looking for students who don't just want to, study all the time. Studying is very important, but we really are looking for students to get involved, participate in different activities. We have a lot of different things we do with the International Student Office. We do trips that we arrange. So I think this year they visited New Orleans and they've been to Chicago. So they usually do a big trip like that, and then we have different events and things going on all the time on campus. So movies, concerts. We had a big outside barbecue on our back lawn.
Nice.
So we really, really love for international students to get involved and meet everyone, and interacting with maybe current students on campus who aren't international as well is something we're really looking for. And that way they really learn a lot from all the international students and meet a lot of different types of students and make friends. So
try to integrate as much as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So I would say that would be the main suggestion, would be to get involved on campus.
Excellent.
Make the most of your experience.
Yes. Jennifer, thank you very much. A lot of really helpful information.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here. It was great being here and getting to meet all the different students.
Awesome.